This is the iPhone 14, one of the most advanced cellular devices in the world. It has over 100,000 times more processing power than the computer Neil Armstrong and Apollo 11 used to reach the moon in 1969. Their mission required $2.87 billion in today's dollars, and just a few decades later, you have 100,000 times the computing power in your pocket. But it doesn't cost $2.87 billion to make an iPhone, right? Or does it? In this video, we'll break down the complex unit economics behind the iPhone, each piece a technological marvel that makes our world possible. First up is the processor. It's small, but it makes the iPhone the iPhone. The processor transforms your phone into a supercomputer. It's the phone's brain. The processor is the most expensive hardware component in your device, but it's only part of the $45.80 A15 Bionic chip, which also packs an image processor and a neural engine. Next up, we've got the display, but this isn't any basic display. The iPhone has a Super Retina XDR display. The Retina XDR display is manufactured in China and costs about $75 per display panel. The battery clocks in at about $15. Whether you're watching a video or listening to music, the battery's life can range from 2 to almost 4 days. The iPhone is notorious for having one of the best cameras around. It has gotten so good that people are shooting feature-length movies with an iPhone. In fact, famous director Steven Soderbergh shot his psychological thriller Unsane with an iPhone, a $10 app, and a special lens. While the first iPhone only had 2 tiny cameras, the iPhone 14 Pro has 3 complex cameras that support 4K and high-definition resolution. However, these cameras only cost about $95, which may surprise you. Finally, we have all the miscellaneous pieces. These are things like sensors, which allow you to swipe and double tap, and all that random metal that keeps the brain of your phone, the processor, safe. These components cost about $60. Looking at all the hardware components, it costs approximately $445 to produce and manufacture the iPhone. That's only about 40% of the retail cost. What about the rest? Is Apple making a profit of over $650 per iPhone? Are we all getting screwed here? Remember, the iPhone doesn't magically put itself together. It requires a combination of humans and machines. And while Apple outsources most of its manufacturing to China and other regions in Southeast Asia, the labor isn't as cheap as you might think. The average iPhone worker is paid $10 per hour, with top workers making about $27 per hour. While you can't say for sure how much this adds to the cost of an iPhone, it's estimated that each phone takes 16 to 24 hours to assemble. Even if workers only make $10 per hour, that's at least another $160 in labor costs alone. So now we're at a little over $600. We've dug up over half of the cost of the iPhone. But as with any good story, there's more to it. According to our research, Apple sold more than 217 million iPhones in 2018. How do you think those phones made it around the world? One word: distribution. The cost, scale, and distribution channels involved in transporting iPhones worldwide are massive. It doesn't help that Apple keeps distribution costs close to the chest, but we can imagine it's a hefty price tag. But we've also got research and development. These teams are why we're not stuck with the OG iPhone or a Nokia. If it weren't for these engineers, we would all be stuck with lagging services, a terrible user experience, and persistent loading issues. Apple invests a ton of money into R&D. In 2021, they spent $21.91 billion on research and development. Finally, Apple has a small army of people responsible for software development and hardware engineering. Most of these employees are highly specialized and command hefty salaries. The average engineer at Apple makes about $182,000 per year, and you can bet their salary is factored into the cost of your iPhone. Not to mention the salaries of the Ivy League MBAs running BizOps in Cupertino, Apple's extensive marketing budget, the jet fuel for Tim Cook's PJ, and the lobbying efforts in DC. This video is focused on the manufacturing cost of the iPhone, but there's a lot more priced into production than hardware parts alone. The point is that iPhone's raw materials and manufacturing may only account for about 50 to 60% of its cost, but what you're also paying for are all the invisible costs. We're not saying that Apple isn't making a profit off them, better believe they're doing just fine. But what we are saying is that the iPhone is a complex machine that contains a spiderweb of hardware and software components. On that note, thank you for watching this video. Please click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next breakdown.